Kushundi arrived under the banyan tree, mentally invoked Sri Ram, and began the story. Ram and Ravana were now going to confront each other on the battlefield. Seeing Sri Ram standing barefoot on the ground, without any armor and without a chariot, facing the well-equipped Ravana and his army, Vibhishan felt very alarmed. Sri Ram, however, soothed him and said that true victory was not won by a fancy, sophisticated chariot, but by the chariot of Dharma. Vibhishan was eager to know what the chariot of Dharma was, and Sri Ram explained. The chariot, as you know, moves on two wheels. In the case of the chariot of Dharma, the two wheels are courage and fortitude. The flag and the pennant are truth and good character. The pennant is a small triangular flag usually used for mottos and crests. So the symbolism here is that only one who has courage and fortitude, who is truthful and has good character, is considered a dharmic individual. The chariot is driven by 4 horses. And what do they symbolize? 1. Bala or physical and moral strength. 2. Vivek or the power to determine what is ethical and unethical, what is good or bad. 3. Dhamma or self-control. And 4. Parahita or benevolence. That means being concerned about the well-being of others and not just thinking of one's own self. The reins that control the horses are made up of 3 strands woven together. They represent forgiveness, compassion, and equanimity. The greatest aspect of forgiveness is bearing no ill will towards the other, even if one has been harmed by the other. Compassion implies wanting and striving for the good of all beings, and equanimity is the ability to remain calm in both honor and dishonor, success and failure, joy and sorrow. And who is the charioteer of such a chariot? It is devotion to Bhagavan. When the heart is filled with devotion, the intellect remains pure, and such an intellect will only guide us on the right path. The sword that the charioteer holds is contentment, and the shield in his hand symbolizes dispassion. In other words, one must do one's duty and then be content with whatever one gets. What this description implies is that all these virtues should be part of our character, for only then can it be said that we follow Dharma. And where there is Dharma, there is ultimate victory. When we talk of the decline of Dharma, it means that there is a decrease in the number of people who live by these virtues. And why should we follow Dharma? Because it takes us to the knowledge of our true self. In realizing his or her true self, an individual conquers the whole world. According to Sri Ram, one who has the chariot of Dharma no longer feels the necessity to vanquish anyone because he has no enemy. He sees himself in everyone and he attains the greatest peace and bliss in this life itself. For the rest of us, the greatest enemy resides within, and that is the ego, the false sense of individuality. Overcoming the ego is extremely difficult, and that is why it is said that one who conquers his own mind is the real world conqueror. Ravan subjugated numerous people, but he was unable to conquer his own mind. He was unable to overcome desire, anger, and ego. Hearing this explanation, Vibhishan felt more reassured. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, there was cheering on both sides. Ravan and Ram now came face to face, and a fierce battle got underway. It was a battle that raged ceaselessly day and night. It was a battle for the establishment of Dharma. Just before it began, however, Indra Devta placed his divine chariot along with his very skillful charioteer called Matali at Sri Ram's disposal. It was driven by 4 extremely beautiful and fleet-footed horses. Seeing the Devta's great desire to help, Ram accepted the chariot. The monkeys cheered and experienced a new surge of enthusiasm. Ravan tried all kinds of illusory tricks on Ram's army. For example, he created a situation where suddenly numerous Rams and Lakshmans became visible. The monkeys saw only Rams and Lakshmans all around them. They could not distinguish the real Ram and Lakshman from the fake ones. They were completely bewildered. When Ram saw the stupefaction of his whole army, he broke the magic spell created by Ravan. In this way, Ravan tried a variety of different ploys, but slowly the numbers in his army dwindled. Ultimately, Ram decided that it was time to put an end to the Rakshasa king. One after another, Ram discharged his sharp and deadly arrows. They knocked down the flag and pennant of Ravan's chariot, destroyed his chariot itself, and brought down his charioteer. With another set of arrows, Ram cut off Ravan's arms and heads. But the amazing thing was that new heads kept springing up. Finally, Ram realized that it was the nectar stored in Ravan's navel that made him invincible. Fixing 31 arrows to his bow, Ram drew the bowstring all the way back to his ear and then let fly all 31 shafts in one go. One struck Ravan straight in the navel and absorbed all the nectar. 10 knocked off his heads, and the remaining 20 cut off his 10 pairs of arms. Ravan fell to the ground, never to rise again. To the amazement of all present, a light emerged from Ravan's body and entered Ram's mouth and became one with him. Cries of victory resounded from everywhere. There was a fluttering of feathers, stamping of feet, and many avian calls of jubilation as the audience celebrated Sri Ram's victory, the victory of Dharma over Adharma. That evening, there was a special prasad of seeds and grains that Kakbhushundi distributed to his audience in celebration of this great event. And that night, the birds reflected long and deep on the virtues that define a dharmic being.